Today, we need to answer the question of how do you stand out on YouTube if you've got a small channel as competition is increasing? I'm going to be sharing a framework that thousands of people have used to find their unique voice, to figure out not only what is the best channel for them to grow, but also how to be different than the competition. And I'm also going to be covering some stuff that I've never talked about anywhere else. So I'm super excited for actually a brand new session during our challenge. And if you happen to be watching the replay, where we're going to be covering the YouTube brand blueprint, how small channels can grow fast in a crowded space on YouTube. But if you're more established, you also might want to stick around until the end of this training for how to maybe reinvent your brand a little bit. How can you strengthen your brand in preparation for 2025? How can you position yourself to stand out when you might look around and say, man, there's already other people doing what I'm doing? Or maybe right now you're like feeling like it's a season to shift your channel or go a different direction. I believe there's going to be such fierce clarity by the end of this, and that you're going to not just have more clarity, more confidence, but that also you're going to have next steps for getting your first or next 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I want to just start with a quick story that illustrates what we're looking for in this training. You may have heard of the story of David and Goliath. It's a great picture of challenges that we are ultimately facing on YouTube today. If you haven't heard the story before, David, a young shepherd boy, was facing a giant Goliath. And this is basically a seemingly invincible warrior who was terrorizing his people. And David had many disadvantages: his size, his strength, his experience. He was a total underdog. But despite his size and strength disadvantage, David, armed with only slings, a sling and some stones and faith, ultimately defeated Goliath. Well, here's the key. David didn't try to fight Goliath on his own terms. David used his unique advantage to position himself for victory. And I don't know about you, you might feel like on YouTube right now, you got Goliaths all around you. Like, man, how do I stand out to that competitor or even that mentor, that person I follow, who just seems like they're so much further along? They've got all these advantages, their size, they already got the subscribers, the momentum that they already have, or even just their skill level. Like, how do I compete against them? And the key in this training is you can't go against Goliath on Goliath's terms. You got to use your own unique advantage. And we're going to use multiple frameworks to uncover skill sets and strengths that are hidden within you so that you can ultimately build your strongest YouTube channel. As a new YouTuber, you might feel small against the established giants. So how do you overcome those odds? Basically, we want to find your slingshot. Like, what is your unique advantage? So here's what we're going to be covering. We're going to talk about a proven framework for turning your YouTube channel into a profitable business, how to make the competition irrelevant, and the secret weapon top YouTubers use to build magnetic brands and attract loyal viewers. And then we're also going to talk about the key to fast tracking your YouTube success and achieving part-time or full-time income sooner than you ever thought possible. So it's going to be a power pack session, and it's really kind of like a workshop. So maybe shut out distractions and take notes, and if possible, journal around some of these ideas, because this is all about helping you grow a successful YouTube channel, reach your first or next 1,000 subscribers, and really find your unique angle on the marketplace. So we're going through 3 tips and really 3 sections of today's training. Tip number 1 is use the 3P framework to identify your most powerful and profitable channel topic. Okay, let's dive in. So if you want to figure out what should my channel be about, and maybe you're watching this and you're like, I think I already know my niche for my channel. Let me challenge you to stick through this training, because number 1, I believe you can improve your brand. You can make it stronger. Number 2, you may want to pivot your brand. One of the reasons why, if you're stuck or views are down or things aren't working like they used to, it's time to reinvent yourself. It's time to look for a new angle, a new strategy. And I believe this 3P framework will help you do it. So the first P, you can draw 3 circles overlapping, Venn diagram, draw that. And inside of the first circle, you can write passion. Now, what we're going to do as we're journaling together is we want to ask some questions. And I want you, even if you already have your YouTube channel, set your YouTube channel aside. let's just go to like a zero base, meaning let's just like pretend we're starting from scratch, getting back to a blank canvas so we can dream a little bit together. So here's the question under passion. I want you to essentially write down your passions, plural, as many as you have, but the things you're most passionate about. And here's a couple prompts and questions for you. What is the thing you love to do so much you would do it for free? Write that down. Like, what is the thing you love to do so much you would do it for free? What do you enjoy? What lights you up? You're hanging out with friends, right? And there's certain topics. They're yapping about politics. You're like, I don't care. They're yapping about sports. You're like, I don't care. They start talking about underground hip hop or punk rock or metal or something. You're like, oh yeah, you like it, like it trigger. You get excited about it. Like you're like, you jump in. You got an opinion. They start talking about video games. They start talking about retro games. What lights you up? This is a good one. What pisses you off? This is one of the best ones. When you're identifying your strongest passion, what we're solving for is our dream YouTube channel. Our dream YouTube channel that also makes money and makes a difference in people's lives. But foundationally, we want to identify the passion. What lights you up, but what also makes you mad? Like if your passion makes you cry, it triggers your emotions. I'm a man, I don't cry. You got to get in touch with your emotions, bro. Like for real. Like it would be good. It's good to cry sometimes. But like what actually like moves you? What moves you? What lights you up? What also makes you mad? I know for some of us, we feel being on YouTube is a mission. Maybe there's an evil you see in the world or something that frustrates you. Sometimes, you know, my background in church communications, actually, media, but I started getting into video volunteering at a local church. And eventually I was a director of communications at a larger church in Las Vegas. We had a TV show, you know, cameras, lighting. We did these big conferences and stuff. You know what makes me mad? Bad video, like low quality video, bad conference production. I've been to some conferences, even in the YouTube space, especially I'm like, dude, this is a YouTube conference. How is it that the audio is echoing and the mics are cutting out and the lighting is bad? Like some people are like, I didn't even notice that. Like, what do you notice? And what frustrates you? I'm like, I'm so frustrated by, you know, bad video. It was a good clue. We're looking for clues to identify, you know, that sweet spot of your passion. And the goal here is to not like, don't hold yourself back. I want you to write down as many passions as you could think of, 5, 10, 15. What breaks your heart and makes you cry? That's the calling at the center of your soul. And then also, what are you curious about? So it's like, what do you research? If you were to go to a bookstore, which are coming back, by the way, Book Talk on TikTok, you know, Barnes & Noble was closing down. Now they're opening again. So if you walk into a bookstore, what section do you go to? I go to usually self-help and business. Do you go to history? Do you go to young adult fiction? Do you go to art? Do you go to, you know, it's just these, you don't have to even have to answers to all these questions. These are just good clarity questions. Can you see yourself still passionate about this topic in 3 to 5 years? It's good. Because I want to encourage you, if we're getting ready to crush 2025 in this next year, like how do we have our best year ever on YouTube? We have tactics and strategies that can help you monetize quickly and reach your goals faster. But the mindset needed to start a successful YouTube channel is the similar mindset to starting a small business. And if you Google it, Google, how long does it take a small business to be profitable? Usually takes 2 to 3 years. And we see in the creator economy, there's ways to get money much sooner. But the point is the mindset of like, okay, I'm not going into this with a get rich quick mindset. I'm going into this with, I think it's a good metric. Do I still want to do this in the next 3 to 5 years? And I know there's a percentage of people watching this that it's time for you to pivot. Because even if your channel is a good idea and it's getting views, as life changes and as passions change, like if your heart's not in it, start steering towards something else. Because if you're like, I don't think I'm going to be passionate about this 3 years from now. And then also, do you want to be associated with that niche in 3 to 5 years? What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be associated with the niche? Does it make you excited that that YouTube channel is what people think of when they think of you? 3 to 5 years from now. Okay, so you're writing down as many as you come up with, which brings us to the next P. Because what we're going to do now is filter through those. That's why I would love for you to have 5, 10, 15, 20 passions. And you might be like me, you're like, Sean, that is the issue. Like, I have 36 passions and I want to start 36 YouTube channels. Welcome to a good community where we're all crazy. As entrepreneurs, we're multi-passionate. We might see opportunities every day. Our passions change. That's a very relatable situation to be, but it's also very dangerous to be if you want to have success. Because if you try and chase 2 rabbits, you'll end up catching neither. If you try and chase 5 rabbits, it's even tougher and you're exhausted. So now we want to kind of narrow down. So if we have 5 or 10 passions, we're going to filter it through the second P, which is proficiency. Proficiency. What does that mean? So now, what are you good at? And if you have brainstormed 5 to 10 passions, what if we now move those passions into proficiency, but only if they pass these tests? Are you good at it? Well, what does good at it mean? Because sometimes we're hard on ourselves. So I'm not like the best at it. Well, good at it could just mean you're a year or 2 into it. We'll call this the 10% edge. I learned this from my friend Amy. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be some kind of guru. If you're 10% ahead of other people in the niche, you can help them move forward. So I'm not suggesting you fake it till you make it. You're not going to be like, I'm the greatest expert in the world with 20 years of real estate experience when you only have 1 year of real estate experience. But if you have 1 year of experience, you're 10% ahead of other people. Oh, I made some mistakes. I learned some things. I've studied. I passed my exam. I closed a few deals. I had a couple of deals that I learned some lessons on. This is a 10% edge. So good at is just like, out of the passions you wrote down, which ones are you the best at? Which ones do you know the most about? Which ones have you read the most books about? Taken online courses about those, invested in learning. So often we discount our own expertise and we have the curse of knowledge where you're like, well, everybody already knows this. No, they don't. Think about events you've been to, books you've read. How many YouTube videos have you watched on the topic? You're probably a lot further ahead than you realize. And so now you want to filter those passions through, what are you good at? What do you have results on? What do you have results in? That's really important. Like if one of those categories is something you actually have results in. So when I think about this, I remember like if I was going to do this exercise with you, under passion, I would write down, here's some of my authentic passions. Snowboarding. That's one that I did ski bus for about 10 years. Love snowboarding. Pretty good. And you're like, Sean, what do you mean pretty good? I mean, backside rodeo 900, just kidding. But, like I'm pretty good at snow. I can go shred. Also music. I DJ'd in high school, vinyl records. Come on, a little bit of EDM. I like that underground hip hop. I was mixing break beats. And I love music. Also guitar, played guitar for a while. Also video, right? And so if I wrote down snowboarding, guitar, DJing, and video, if I go to the proficiency category, guitar, I don't have like really results and I'm not super good at it. DJing a little better, but like, and then also, am I going to be fascinated by that for the next 3 to 5 years? Snowboarding, I do love that one. And I don't think I would be like teaching people tricks, but like, that'd be pretty cool to maybe travel to different mountains, vlog a little bit, some affiliate marketing, drones, maybe review resorts. But I'm 40 years old and I got a 2-year-old and 4-year-old. Like, I'm not even going snowboarding anymore. Like, I don't even have a life anymore. Come on, parents, like welcome to, under 5 and 2 kids under 5. Okay. So it's even season of a life. That would probably not be the best niche for me. Video. Well, here we are. So proficiency, and even back when I started Think Media 14 years ago, one of my first videos was like how to build an HD video editing machine, because I had done it. How to get started in video production, because I was a few years into it. So just be thinking now about filtering down the proficiency filter. What do you have a 10% edge in? Do you have any big milestones that you've achieved? Or small milestones? Do you have any credentials or like you've won an award, certifications then those are going to be clues on proficiency. So now our goal, if you wrote down 5 or 10 things in passion, hopefully you can narrow it down. Maybe you have fierce clarity already. Like, okay, it's already obvious. It's not like Sean, it's not going to be snowboarding or guitar or DJing. It's going to be video. That's the clear one for him. I already have the clear one, but you still might be torn between 1, 2, 3 ideas, which brings us to the third P. And then we're going to cover the 3 big pitfalls people fall into that this framework reveals in just a second. And so profit is the next one. Will this make money? Now, let's be clear. You don't have to do YouTube to make money, right? If you want to do YouTube as a hobby, that's great. I just like to encourage people to have enough self-awareness that you're not frustrated that you're not earning money if you don't filter your YouTube channel topic and your YouTube channel niche through all 3 of the P's, because you can't just have 2 of them. You can't just have 1 of them. You need all 3 if you want this to be a part-time or full-time thing for you, if you want this to also be sustainable for 3 to 5 years. So under the profit question, you want to have a really clear answer to the question of what problem do you solve? Or what problem does your YouTube channel solve? Because people buy solutions to problems. And even if you don't sell anything, the most valuable asset people have right now is their attention and their time, because there's a lot of stuff they could watch. And YouTube runs ads. Eventually your channel gets monetized. So even by the nature of someone being on your video, you can earn money from that attention and that time on your video. Well, the reason they're on your video is because you're solving a problem. Now, comedians solve problems of maybe people that just need to relax and unwind and disconnect, and novelty. Entertainment channels, same thing, novelty, disconnect, maybe community. But we help a lot of course, education channels, which if I thought about the 4 niches I would consider: snowboarding, how do I get started? Reviewing resorts, what are the best resorts? How do I get a pass? There's lots of problems. Like how do I try, lots of questions I could answer related to snowboarding. Guitar, how do I learn my guitar? How do I make money as a musician? How do I just be a hobbyist guitar? You want to just get fiercely clear on the problem that your YouTube channel solves, because people buy solutions to problems with their money, with their time. So also you want to brainstorm at this stage of what could or would people buy from you. Not that you need to do it right now, but what are the best ways of earning money in your niche? But even better, what could people actually buy from you? Well, they could buy my merch. Okay, well, that's generic. It's good, but like that's generic. Like, of course, that you build a big enough audience, anybody could buy your merch, your hoodies, your coffee mug. They could buy into my Patreon or my membership community for sure. But also, again, if you're in online education like I am, you know that one of the things you can buy from me is monthly or annual access to our Video Ranking Academy, because we solve the problem of helping you start and grow a profitable YouTube channel. So if you're in education, and many people, we surveyed everybody in our challenge as we're doing this session. And so the number 1 category was people that are in education. You might be helping people to learn to code. You might be helping people learn real estate investing. And the big key here is if we write down 10 passions and filter it through proficiency, but then add the additional P, it's up to you to say, okay, well, you've already identified you're passionate about all these things. Now, they might not all be your number 1 passion, but if I am wanting to launch a YouTube channel in 2025 that is going to be a full-time income, the profit P is going to be a big P for me. I want there to be viability at the start, to be thinking about, okay, I've pre-thought about the business model for this. And so even though I love this sounds like the most fun. Like I could be, in a Volkswagen van, maybe like a Mercedes Sprinter, and going across the country snowboarding right now. That'd be kind of cool. Bring my kids with me, or just leave my wife and kids at home. They're like, where's our dad? I could be doing that, but like, that sounds like the most fun, but what's the most practical and profitable? Then I select video or things I can do from my battle station home office. It's a filter. So what could people buy from you? And then also, what business do you want to be in? So maybe you want to make videos and go as viral as possible and keep things as simple as possible, although that's still challenging. You're like, I don't want the headache of making an online course or a membership site. I don't want, as much as possible at this stage, you might say, what business do I actually want to be in? And on Friday of our challenge, we're going to be talking about the different business models and income streams. So we'll give you some more content on this. But at this level of the conversation, we are looking for the intersection of our passion, proficiency, and profit. Now, here's the big pitfalls. If all you have is passion and proficiency, but you don't have profit, you have a hobby. And so many people get frustrated and they just go, Sean, please help me. And sometimes I'm like, we need to fix the foundation of your YouTube channel, but you're out here trying to like change the paint on the walls. The foundation is flawed. Like you need to pivot your niche because you have picked a channel that you're passionate about and you know a lot about, but the money-making potential of the channel is just not there. Now, I understand you can make money from anything if you grow big enough, like if you get enough views, but also if you're going to sustain it over years, the viability of the business side of it, you really want to consider. So if all you have is passion and proficiency, that might be why you're frustrated because you just have a hobby. Now, also, if all you have is profit and proficiency, the pitfall is boredom. And this is why maybe you've been doing YouTube for a while or you're thinking about changing niches. Passion is a superpower because if two people are competing, the person who's like, well, I'm good at it and it makes money, but like my heart's not in it, is always going to lose to the person who's good at it and can make money from it, but their heart's in it. Passion is priceless. It's contagious. When you're passionate, it electrifies, like it connects even on camera. Like you want to pick something that fires you up. Now I get it. It doesn't always light you up, you know? There's this quote, if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. Dude, I call BS, man. I work a lot of days in my life and I love what I do. If you love what you do, you will never work another day in your life. No, like all the hard work, is hard. And so of course there's going to be ups and downs. And there's certain seasons where you do kind of grind through it. I don't know about you, but not every day do I just wake up like the girl from Enchanted and have like birds come in and like get my hair ready and the squirrels are brushing my teeth and getting my coffee ready. I'm spinning, I'm singing Disney songs, There's some days when you aren't feeling it, but what you want to know you got that inner core, that inner passion. And sometimes you just need to rediscover that. And hopefully this challenge might be doing that for you. Just kind of like tap into your why again, tap into your passion again. Remember why you started. Remember what you're fighting for. Remember your goals. Remember the people that are dependent on you. Remember asking the question, who's waiting for me to show up and take my goals seriously? Like we're on a mission to help 1 million purpose-driven people create a full-time living doing what they love on YouTube. I'm driven to fight for my kids, fight for my wife, fight for the Think Media team, fight for our community. But I'm like, there's people watching this video that are part of my mission. So if I don't feel like it, well, then that might mean somebody doesn't get that idea or get that insight or have that breakthrough. And then also we're passionate about people with messages that matter because we have all kinds of different channels, but some people recognize that right now more than ever, there's real evil in the world. There's real lies in the world. And some people feel deeply passionate about getting their voice out there to bring truth where there's lies. And we feel called at Think Media to equip people like that. People that are like mission-driven content creators, purpose-driven content creators. So as you can see, I'm not bored because I am dialed into the intersection of passion, proficiency, and profit. That's my heart for you. That's my goal for you. And if you only have though passion and profit, but you don't have the proficiency piece, the pitfall is failure. Because you're like, I really want to do this. And it's a really good opportunity. Like there's so many different, there's the best business models, the best creator economy income streams, but this is a self-awareness piece of proficiency. Again, you just need a 10% edge, but not every niche is for everybody. So oftentimes in our coaching, what we'll do with people too, is sometimes it's about steering towards a different niche where you can tap into your strengths or a different niche where you can tap into play to your strength. Some people will say like, honestly, I'm a little afraid to get on camera. And like, I just feel like I have a voice for radio. Well, I got two things for you. Number one is that insecurity or that imposter syndrome is normal, and a lot of people feel that. And I think you'd be surprised by getting on camera. Not that you'll never have pushback or criticism, but we have seen people of all shapes, all sizes, all ethnicities, all backgrounds crush it on YouTube. And oftentimes your boldness in overcoming your fear will inspire others, no matter what you look like, no matter how young or old you are. But also, if you're like, literally, no, I don't have a face for camera, like I got a voice for radio. There's so much opportunity on YouTube. You can have a faceless channel. There's countless successful faceless channels, voiceovers, teach through slides, B-roll. And so some of that is like, you can just play to your strengths like that. Therefore, your path to YouTube is playing to your strengths. What's cool about YouTube is it truly is like an equal opportunity platform. That's not like Hollywood is. Like if you're a supermodel, that helps you in the supermodel career. And it'll help you in YouTube as well. That would be playing to one of your strengths. But if you're not, like most of us, then you go, okay, what are my strengths? And so I want to encourage you to not, as much as possible, shift from kind of a critical perspective to look at how much opportunity there is. Well, with all these tools and software and B-roll and niches I could be in. And in some cases, you might not be pumped about the niche, but what if you made a channel about Python or JavaScript or Excel or Microsoft Word? It always shocked. There's like Microsoft Word videos with 3.2 million views. People made like 10 grand off of that Microsoft Word video. And so you're like, well, that's not at the top of my passion list, but I have been doing it for 10 years. And so there could be big profit. That's a few notches down on your passion list, but if you're still interested in it, good at it, and can make money from it, my friend, that is that sweet spot of YouTube success. Which brings us to number two. And if you're enjoying this, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because we are streaming this on Think Media. But let's take this a little bit deeper. Because if all you did was apply the 3P framework, you're going to be positioned more powerfully for success Q4 2024, 2025, getting in alignment, maybe reinventing your channel. But there's still a lot of competition. There's still a lot of passionate, proficient, and profitable ideas, and there's other people out there. So Sean, really, how do I stand out? How do I, especially in today's landscape, when it seems like there's a lot of echoes, how do I become a voice? Well, this brings us to tip number two. The secret weapon isn't being better, it's being different. The secret weapon is not being better, it's being different. When David and Goliath, we started with that story. When David was going to go fight Goliath initially, King Saul was like, here, try on my armor and use my sword. And so the young shepherd boy, David, puts it on. It's like, man, this doesn't fit. It's too heavy. I don't know how to move in this. But that methodology would have been fighting Goliath on his own terms. Okay, he's got armor, a sword, a spear. I'm going to go fight him with armor, a sword, a spear. And as he's thinking about, and this would be that self-reflection, probably prayerful reflection, David's like, dude, I can't wear this stuff. Takes the armor off, goes down to a stream, pulls stones from the stream, and he already had experience with the slingshot. And kind of seemed crazy because how could you possibly take a slingshot against a sword? But that became the very key. He tapped into something entirely different, a different way of approaching defeating the giant. So if you're trying to defeat the giant of growing your online business, of growing your YouTube channel, of getting monetized, of making this thing part-time or full-time, the secret weapon isn't being better, it's being different. So here's how to stand out. Personality. Personality. Personality is the cornerstone of building a standout brand. Personality. What do I mean? Woo! We haven't even talked about this yet anywhere on any platform at any time. Maybe a little bit. I mean, I'm sure we've touched, but like I've been going deep on this because, in this new world, AI is here. Information is abundant. How-to information is common. You know what people want though? is they want human connection. They are looking for the person. You know what's dead on YouTube? Just like, here is how to solve the problem, and here is the search-based term, and here is a video about how to solve this problem. Like, that worked great 10 years ago because it was somewhat novel and people were looking for practical information. But now listen, don't get me wrong, people still are. But the key is they're looking for a person and a personality they connect with to share the information with them. This is why one of the best titles, you could write this down right now, is How I. Like, even like how you could start a successful YouTube channel. I know we still do that sometimes, but you'll notice sometimes we'll like how I, and what I do is I share the results I've gotten, or Craig will share the results he's gotten. And it's like how I, out of your proficiency bucket, and even if you're starting a vertical video, here's how I got my first 1,000 subscribers. Here's how I saved $3,000 on my taxes. Here's how I got my child to fall asleep, even though it seemed to be having sleep regression. Here's how I meal prep for a family of 5. And someone sees you, they're looking for you. And so you need to show up. You are showing up. You're bringing that. And anyone can go Google it. But the creator economy is not going backwards. What's happening is those who are winning, there's this intersection right now. We know that authenticity is a big trend. Authenticity is the new currency. And let's get a little bit geeky. I wasn't going to go here, but if you look it up, Google has like a ranking kind of factor. It's like a way they rank web pages, and it's EAAT, EAT. And it stands for experience. It stands for the other things. Oh, let me look it up. What does it mean and why does it matter for your business? It stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. EEAT. There's 2 E's. It stands for experience, expertise, and trustworthiness. And they added a new E. So it used to just be EAT. Let's get clear here. It stands for, you can write this down, EEAT, which is Google's kind of ranking factor, what it's for and how to demonstrate it. It affects SEO. Here's the bottom line. What does it mean? It means that Google, which owns YouTube, is wanting to like push content out there, and the content that's resonating is a human that has real experience, real life experience, real stories. We're kind of getting into this. So under personality, what are your stories? What is your experience? What is the pain you've been through? What have you been through in your life? Your experience, your expertise. Like, this is what AI is not as close as you think to Terminator 2, you know, John Connor, Sarah Connor, Judgment Day. Trustworthiness. I don't trust ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT. I'm still a little bit leery. You know, it's like, and so expertise, experience, authority, trust, this comes from a human. And so this is why there's really good news for all of us as content creators. We need to figure out the 3 Ps, but then we need to really dial in our personality and not be afraid to let our personality shine through. Because friend, going forward on YouTube, it's all you have. Because just information is more common, but your personality isn't. Now you might say, Sean, a personality sucks. I mean, you know, like, there's something about getting out of that negative thinking. And there's also something about continuing to grow in the expression of what makes you authentically you. So let's continue to do the work. Fresh page in your journal. Got a few questions for you. So let's just cover about you. What are 3 words that describe your personality? And actually, those that are in VIP in our challenge, these questions, we can't go through all of them, but we have all of these in there and then even more. So you can, in your downloadable guides. And if anybody wants to join VIP, there's still a few more days of group Q&A that you can get into as well. We'll drop it in the chat if you're interested. But about you, what are 3 words that best describe your personality? Now, some of this stuff can take some work. And so maybe you ask some people around you, can I challenge you to do something? This is a challenge after all. Fire off some of these questions in an email to people you trust, and people that you trust will tell you the truth. And might say, I just have a couple of questions for you. I really want to kind of like strengthen my personal brand, dial in my brand. I'm working on a project. I just have a couple short questions for you. And listen, you won't hurt my feelings. I'm just curious, can you answer these questions truthfully? Because again, sometimes you're harder on you than you should be. But there's these aspects of you. This is why what's cool on YouTube is people like different kinds of people. Maybe you're like super dry and like straightforward and informational. And that's why people love it. They're like, trim all the hype, and like Sean switching camera angles. It's like, it's stressing me out. Like, just give me it. That's you. So you play to your strengths. Why does Sean like teach on slides and like stuff? People like, they actually literally, my friend Benji was like, how does Sean like he teaches on like PowerPoints from 2007. Like, they're not even animated. Is that a secret? No, it's like, just like, I don't know. I'm like, it's just what I do. So it's like, you might have a different style in the way. But what are 3 words you best describe your personality? Now, if you think about a brand, and brands have personalities, it's what makes the brand powerful. There's any brand you wear and you love it, like the actual brand name, there's a vibe to it, right? There's a reason you wear the logo. Like, maybe it associates you with a particular way of life, motorsports, racing, skate culture, counterculture. Maybe it's a higher end brand name. It associates you with luxury. It's all. What are 3 words that describe your personality? What are 3 words that describe Starbucks that versus a local coffee shop? So brands have personalities, and personal brands have personalities. You might brainstorm like 10 words, but what are the 3 words that describe your personality? You identify those, and then you amplify those. Okay. This now, I want to level this up, because this is what's going to make my YouTube channel unique. I'm not trying to have armor and a sword like Goliath. I'm trying to use my slingshot. Another question is like, what is a quirky or unexpected interest you might have that surprises people? And what life experience have shaped your perspective and the way you see the world? And this gets into the power of storytelling. What makes you unique is storytelling. Now, where people fall into a pitfall on this is they're like, so wait a minute, like, I'm doing tech reviews and I should do like storytelling. So let me just take 3 minutes of this video to like talk about my grandfather. No, that's not the way you do it when you're doing a tech review. You like stick with the information in the tech review. But what happens is the goal on YouTube is not to just get a one-off view. This is why people fail to build brands. Is you might get a one-off view or a search-based view, but if you don't share your personality and you don't have a story woven in here and there, then ultimately you're not going to actually build super fans. You're just going to have traffic that comes and goes. And it can be challenging to build something sustainable. So you can weave in little bits and pieces here and there. It's why I storytell in my content. And depending on where, it depends on the length of the story. People start learning, oh, Sean's a person of faith. His values are family. Sean is his background is in underground hip hop, and he grew up, small town kid, college dropout, grew up on 6 acres and fell out of place because he's kind of into hip hop and EDM, yet he was growing up around goats, chickens, and future farmers of America, and was like shoveling horse manure himself, like just different. And like people resonate with these different pieces, or maybe the challenges. What life experiences have shaped your perspective and the way you see the world? My wife almost dying when we were only married for a few years. And people connect with these different touch points. This is how you stand out, friends. So we're doing the work in this video. This is the cornerstone of building a standout brand. What are life experiences that have shaped your perspective? Okay, what are some of your values and beliefs? Next category. What are you truly passionate, and why does it matter to you? What are you truly passionate about, and why does it matter to you? Now, this is where a lot of people haven't done this work, but what are some strong opinions and beliefs that you hold that others might challenge or debate? Again, you might be like, as my dad taught me, the barbecue is not the place for politics or religion. If you're like teaching a channel, like I don't do like faith-based camera reviews. You know what I mean? Like that's not the time or the place. But as you're building a brand, convictions and opinions and beliefs will come through. What are yours? If you want to build a brand in 2025 and you're saying, and of all the competition, how do I stand out? The people who do this are going to be the people who stand out and rise above the noise. What causes or issues do you care deeply about? And how could you use your voice to make a difference? What are some of the causes and issues? And then how about your taste and your influences? What are your favorite books, movies, music? What do you love about them? And then last one under this, and we'll go to the third point. Who are your role models or inspirations, and what qualities do you admire about them? So if I'm thinking about doing a YouTube channel, part of the work here could be, what is 3, 4, or 5 other YouTube channels or personal brands that I love? And you might write down, okay, Andrew Huberman, or you write down PewDiePie, or you write down, Dave Ramsey, or you write down, and you might be like, I don't like any of those guys, whoever for you. Or you might, but the key here is what about them? And it might just be the one thing. I think Andrew Huberman, a little bit of smoke came out about his love life or whatever. So it's like, you don't have to love everything about somebody. No judgment. I don't actually know the facts about, but some stuff was like, is he dating 7 women? You're like, well, that's not my value system personally. Like, married to my wife, 19 years, but like, he's super smart. Like how much research he's done, how he can articulate ideas, how he can do some things. It's one of the powerful things under personality. You're not copying somebody else, but you're thinking about, who is it that I resonate with that's a mentor, or a role model that inspires me. And here's what's kind of cool was, you can, when you pick out those things, you will be originally you, but you'll probably be a combination of other people, if that makes sense. When you pull pieces from inspiration and you combine that into your unique experience, but what's their one word? Like, I like that individual, the way they edit, or the style of their music, or like just the overall vibe of their videos, or the tone of their videos, the pacing of their videos. Like, you start pulling together these brand elements. So as we land the plane on our third point, personality is the cornerstone of building a standout brand. In a world of AI, in a world where information is becoming more common, your experience, your expertise, your authoritativeness, your trustworthiness, and ultimately just those elements about your personality woven into your brand. Again, woven in. They can start showing up now in your channel cover art, your avatar, your videos, your hooks, eventually your marketing materials. Like, what are those elements that make up your brand? This is going to be crucial for standing out. And then number 3, don't aim for perfect, launch with good enough, and refine your brand as you go. So now that we've done the 3P exercise, right? And we're now doing the personality exercise by identifying our values and beliefs, personality, these different aspects that make that up. There's much more work we could do to kind of bring this all together. And I want to also encourage you that this is an evolution, because the biggest mistake you can make is to think about, oh, shoot, man, I haven't even thought about all this stuff. I need to go on a 1-year retreat of self-discovery to go figure out all the answers to all these questions before I start. No, you don't. I would encourage you to get as clear as possible, even in this very session, to challenge yourself just with what we're learning here. During this 5-day challenge, what we're ultimately doing is we want to get a simple plan, a napkin plan, and we want to start taking massive, imperfect action towards our goals. So don't aim for perfect, launch with good enough, and refine your brand as you go. And I was actually in like a mastermind this last week, and it was so cool to hear this, because it was somebody who is like in their 40s and they've now built a very successful video podcast, but they talked about how long it took them to find their voice. And they said it takes 1.5 years to 2 years. So I want to encourage you. You might be like, oh man, I love this session and I feel like a lot of clarity right now. Or you might be feeling like, I feel more confused. Who even am I? Why do I have so many voices in my head? Can you relate? It's like, but part of the process is refining your brand as you go. I don't know how strong or weak my brand is today, but now we're Think Media, and we got logos and I don't know, videos and a vibe to it. And I'm more confident on camera. I'm still in process. I'm still refining it. But you go all the way back to even 2010. And what's so funny was I was making camera tutorials on like how to build a video editing machine. But I want to encourage you. I went through, like, if you will, years of self-discovery, and I would say confusion. I was taking action the whole time, but I got distracted. I got distracted by maybe trying to be somebody else or trying to just follow multiple paths. Like, I started with Think Media. I actually started with other stuff, but I started with Think Media. But then I was like, maybe I want to vlog over here. And my friend Benji and his wife were vloggers. So I kind of like, well, maybe I'm doing what they're doing. And it was my own style, but I'm like vlogging. It wasn't even what I really wanted to do. And it was a nice experiment, but I like did that for a while. And then I started, learning about affiliate marketing. So I did these gift ideas videos. Cool camera that has overheated over there, but cool experiments that were helpful on my journey. But I was still like finding my voice. So it was really cool to hear this individual affirm that I think really refining your YouTube voice, it doesn't mean you can't be successful in the process. And it doesn't mean you can't do, that's what I loved about some of my gift idea series and stuff like that, was I made money in the process, which helped advance the mission. But really dialing in, my big point here is, don't aim for perfect, launch with good enough, and then refine your brand as you grow. And so start with the napkin plan, but then continue to revisit the 3P exercise, the personality exercise, and consider emailing a few of those questions to people who in your life that will tell you the truth, because that feedback can help you codify. And those are the greatest strengths of my brand. And when you tap into the intersection of your greatest strengths, of the financial opportunity, if you want this to be a real business, and also of something that you're passionate about, that you could see yourself being passionate about for 3 to 5 years, you're going to be in your superpower for YouTube success. Now, if you also like this session, this was session 2 of our free 5-day YouTube 1K challenge. And we're going to be helping you get your first or next 1,000 subscribers and earn your first or next $1,000 on YouTube and beyond. And so if you are not actually registered and in the circle group, then you can go to tube1kchallenge.com to register. Again, if you're watching this on Think Media, then to get the next 3 sessions, they're only going to be streamed privately. So right now, click the link in the description or go to your website browser and go to tube1kchallenge.com to register. And so what we learned today is that passion plus proficiency plus profit equals the perfect channel for you. Your unique personality is key for standing out. Be different, not better. In 2025, listen, the competition is not too fierce, only if you try to defeat Goliath on his terms. Create your own terms. Find your slingshot and stick with us, because we will help you continue to refine your unique difference, your unique strengths, and find the perfect YouTube channel strategy and path for you. And then finally, good enough now, refine later. Take action on this information. Clean up your channel, maybe rebrand your channel, maybe fix it up a little bit. And then one other thing that we have in your VIP resource, and we'll be talking about in the future, just an action item for you, is codify it into a tagline. Once you've kind of done the work, craft your elevator pitch. And we'll be releasing a training in the future on that. But, we'll say at Think Media, bring you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. What is that elevator pitch? On the Think Media podcast channel, raw and unfiltered tips for building a profitable YouTube channel. How can you concisely say, but there's some ways to really refine that. And you might be like, Sean, do you have like 46 taglines? What actually is interesting, a lot of experts would teach, depending on the room you're in, might depend on how you present your channel. So sometimes it's like, I help people, this type of person, solve this type of problem with this unique difference. So it's like, at Think Media, we help purpose-driven people grow successful YouTube channels and experience that success without losing their soul. Kind of becomes like a mission statement and a tagline. We love to help purpose-driven people, people that want to make a difference in the world, fight evil, do good, and support their families and help other people. We help them do what? Grow successful YouTube channels. And then how's it different than how other people do it? Success without losing your soul. Now, of course, that could have a faith-based implication, but also just without burning out, without like blowing up your marriage in the process, without destroying your health in the process, without selling out, while staying authentic, while staying true to yourself. So I'm throwing that at you. It's just kind of an after thing. That VIP, check that out in your downloadable guides. But one of the things to do is refine all this as far as an action item. Craft a tagline, craft a elevator pitch for your channel so that you can articulate your difference, articulate your value. And this will also even be like a North Star for you as you're thinking about what's my channel doing, what videos am I making, and how can I make the next year my best year ever on YouTube.